Fact first. America first. Welcome back to the Charlie Kirk Show.
Okay, everybody, welcome back. Let me tell you guys about YRefi. YRefi is one of our great partners here. You can go to YRefi.com. That is YREFY.com. If you are in private student loan debt, YRefi can get you guys out of debt today. That is YREFY.com. Private student loan debt in the United States totals about $300 billion. They provide you with a custom loan payment based on your ability to pay. If you go to YRefi.com, you could read testimonials from other people who have been where you are and how they have successfully escaped. Bad credit is accepted. You can even skip a payment every 6 months up to 12 times without penalty. Just call 888-YREFI34 or log on to YRefi.com. That is YREFY.com. You do not have to ignore that mountain of student loan statements on your kitchen table anymore. Go to YREFY.com. That is YRefi.com. I guarantee you somebody in this audience has a niece, a nephew, a friend, a family member that is suffering under privately held student loan debt. Get out of privately held student loan debt today at YRefi.com. That is YREFY.com. Email us as always, freedom@charliekirk.com. We'll be right back. Okay, everybody, welcome back. Email us as always, freedom@charliekirk.com. In order for us to keep talking about China, it's very important that all of you in the audience know the name and the book, first Francis Fukuyama, and the book, The End of History and the Last Man. It was published in 1992. Remember the context of when this book was published. This book was published right after the fall of the Soviet Union. This was peak neoliberal arrogance. This was about the crescendo of the ruling class of the West that believed that this was the end of all human government, that liberal democracy had emerged as literally the final form of human government. The claim wasn't that history literally ends, but that the ideological evolution has reached its endpoint. No rival system at the time in 1992 seemed capable of challenging liberal democracy in legitimacy or performance. We assumed the American way had won forever. And I was raised in this context. I was told by teachers, I was told by professionals, Charlie, the more that we trade with China, soon they're going to be wearing Levi jeans and having McDonald's in Tiananmen Square, and they'll be listening on their iPods. And once they do that, they're going to embrace free speech, they're going to embrace American values, and they will de-radicalize and decouple from totalitarianism. This book, The End of History and the Last Man by Francis Fukuyama, without a doubt, was one of the most important, arrogant theses of the 1990s. It set the tone for the American ruling class. Because the wall had fallen, the enemy of the Soviet Union collapsed. We did it without having to go to a kinetic war. It felt as if we did not just win a war, but we won an ideological battle, and boy, did we get cocky. Our leaders assumed anybody who came to America from China will decide America's way is better than China's, and either join our team or fight to make China be on our side. But if you really think about it, if you come here today from China, what are you likely to think? Our cities are filthy, they're murderous, they're dangerous. And as we have declined in virtue in our country, it's much harder to have liberty when you do not have virtue. When you do not have a virtuous people, when you do not have strong families, when you do not have people going to church, liberty quickly becomes license. Bill Clinton articulated this best. Bill Clinton celebrated the entrance of the Chinese Communist Party into the World Trade Organization. I want you to put up the B-roll again of the Chinese military, please. The Chinese military with their tanks and their missiles rolling through the streets. You guys paid for that. This is paid for by the U.S. citizen. This is paid for by your Beanie Babies. This is paid for by your baseballs. This is paid for by your textiles. Hey, that's paid for by your vitamin C and by your antibiotics. Bill Clinton helped design this order, but this was all because of Fukuyama's argument. This is very important. Fukuyama gave them the arrogance that if we started trading with China, we would get super rich, the economic elite would then be able to have more capital, and then China would liberalize, and the whole world would live in liberal, democratic harmony. That sounds so dumb when I say it today now in 2025, but that's exactly the context of which all these decisions were made. World Trade Organization, NAFTA, Play Cut 393.
Bringing China into the WTO is a win-win decision. It will protect our prosperity, and it will promote the right kind of change in China. It is good for our farmers, for our manufacturers, and for our investors. Encouraging China to play by international rules, I say again, is an important step toward a safer, saner world.
Now, instead of China changing, we've actually become more like China. Not in the good ways, by the way. Less free speech, more oligarchic governance, an untouchable billionaire class. We became more like them. They did not adapt. They did not liberalize. They don't have free speech. You can't challenge the government. You can't own firearms. China is more totalitarian than they were either in the 1990s. And this is where all the experts, again, which should just be completely discounted, they're like, well, you can't have economic liberty without personal liberty. Oh, yeah, you can. China's proven you can. You can own stuff and be hyper-materialistic and have no other personal freedom. You can go to the mall and shop and do stuff and still not be able to go to church. The 1990s, Francis Fukuyama, end of history, Bill Clinton, the dot-com era, we won. And instead of entering the victory with humility, we also did the 1990 Immigration Act. We opened up our borders to the entire world. And now in 2025, we are reckoning with the consequences of the cockiness of the leaders of the 1990s. So much of what we are living through is because of the arrogance and the pride of a ruling class in America that saw the wall fall in Berlin and said, we won, baby. Bring in the foreigners, import the plastic, make us rich. It's the end of history. Turns out history was just getting started. We'll be right back.